the respondent puts on record her objection to any requests, motions, or similar efforts aimed at obtaining or fishing for supposed evidence through processes that necessarily presuppose the existence of lawful authority and jurisdiction under the Constitution, which in this case is absent. As timely stated in the appearance and consolidated answer both made ad cautelam, the respondent does not waive any jurisdictional or other objections she has to these proceedings, nor her right to seek the appropriate legal remedies. Nonetheless, she is prepared to meet the charges against her.
Kahapon po, no, as you all know, nagpadala po kami ng sulat sa Committee on Justice, as counsels for the Vice President. At doon sa sulat na yun, inilahat natin yung aming fundamental objections, no, dito sa mga proceedings na isinasagawa ng Committee on Justice. Siguro to give you more context, hindi po ako nagbigay, and you know that, hindi po ako nagbigay ng kopya ng sulat sa kahit anong media outfit out of due respect for the Committee on Justice. But since we noticed na I think some copies are already circulating online, we'd like also to give you proper context doon sa sulat na yon. And that's why Attorney Sheila here will read the pertinent portions of that letter para po maintindihan, hindi lang ninyo, pati na rin ng ating mga kababayan.
Thank you, Mike. Good afternoon, everyone. We thank you for coming today, and I think this is on short notice. We appreciate everyone's work to keep the public well informed on the development of the impeachment complaints against the Vice President. That's why I confirm that the defense team sent a letter addressed to Representative Luistro, the chairperson of the Committee on Justice. This was dated March 24, 2026. This letter was sent in response to the invitation extended to us by the committee. Just so there is context to the letter that we sent, even as we had observed from the hearing that was conducted earlier, that this letter was also tackled by the committee. We will just read the pertinent portions so that the public is also informed of the reason or the reason stated in this letter on why the respondent and the defense team did not participate in the hearing today. So under these circumstances, and considering the public statements made by the chairperson, it appears that the committee intends to conduct a trial. However, with due respect, the Constitution vests the authority and power to conduct trial solely in the Senate. And this is clear and explicit in Section 3, Paragraph 6, Article 11 of the 1987 Constitution, which, as you know, states that it is the Senate that shall have the sole power to try and decide all cases of impeachment. The Constitution is thus clear. It is only the Senate that conduct trial in all cases of impeachment. And while Section 3, Paragraph 2, Article 11 allows the committee to conduct a hearing for the purpose of submitting its report to the House of Representatives within 16 session days from referral, the same does not give the committee any power or jurisdiction to conduct any form of trial, whether mini or full-blown, much less receive and try any evidence. That impeachment rules must be compliant with the Constitution is made clear in Francisco versus House of Representatives, wherein the Supreme Court declared Section 16 and 17 of Rule 5 of the Rules of Impeachment Proceedings adopted by the 10-12 Congress unconstitutional. And in doing so, the Supreme Court aptly reminded, it is basic that all rules must not contravene the Constitution, which is the fundamental law. In light of these, while the invitation for the respondent and counsel to participate in the committee's mini-trial is well noted, we cannot, however, do so at this point on the ground that the committee and or the House of Representatives, as well as any of its members, lack jurisdiction to conduct any form of trial or exercise any of its incidents. Absent such jurisdiction, any attempt to proceed in the nature of any form of trial or to invoke powers ancillary to it is unconstitutional. Consequently, the respondent puts on record her objection to any requests, motions, or similar efforts aimed at obtaining or fishing for supposed evidence through processes that necessarily presuppose the existence of lawful authority and jurisdiction under the Constitution, which in this case is absent. As timely stated in the appearance of consolidated answer both made ad cautelam, the respondent does not waive any jurisdictional or other objections she has to these proceedings, nor her right to seek the appropriate legal remedies. Nonetheless, she is prepared to meet the charges against her before the proper jurisdiction.
Thank you. We will now just open the floor to questions para hindi tayo maubusan ng oras.
Hello, good afternoon. Hi ma'am, hi sir. I'm Camille Samondebo from TV5. Natapos na po yung hearing ng Committee on Justice and there were several motions po na natakel sa hearing where they want to issue subpoena doon sa mga ilang dokumento, kabilang sa mga financial transactions, IDR, including yung attorney po kasama doon sa pinasubpoena. Maybe just get your reaction on that. And ano po yung magiging tugon ng defense team since ito nga may mga feeling na yung committee na mga dokumento na mapresenta o matakil doon sa committee.
Thank you. Unang-una sa lahat, I have to address yung subpoena that was issued against myself. I will wait for the subpoena. Titingnan ko kung ano yung laman ng subpoena, but definitely I'm willing to attend. No, wala akong any intention to evade having to attend before the Committee on Justice. Although I must say, I was monitoring the hearings. In fact, that's why hindi kami nag-start until matapos yung hearings out of due respect na rin to the Committee on Justice. I was a bit surprised because I think the ground stated there was that I was the one in charge of the accomplishment reports, etc., which obviously the facts and documents would show that it was not me. No? But nonetheless, I don't see any point in not appearing. So I will definitely abide by the subpoena, subject to, of course, titingnan natin kung ano yung laman. Pagdating naman doon sa ibang subpoena that will be issued for the documents, I think it is our job as counsels to look first at kung ano yung scope ng subpoena and to see kung naayon ba sa batas yung pag-issue ng subpoena. Attorney Sheila, is there anything you wanted to add pa? Go ahead.
In addition to what Mike had said, I think the portions of the letter that I had read earlier would answer that question. So right now, what is clear is that we have questions on the jurisdiction of the committee to conduct any form of trial. And if you had noticed also from the letter we had stated that it's not only the conduct of the trial, but also the exercise of any and all ancillary incidents to it, which includes, of course, the issuance of any compulsory process. I cannot tell you yet how the defense would meet the orders given today at the committee hearings, or how we would specifically respond to those. But we are making clear that we are questioning the jurisdiction of the committee to conduct this form of trial, whether it is something that they may have, or some members of the committee may have referred to as a mini trial or as a form of hearing. We have a fundamental question on the jurisdiction, and that fact has been made clear in the letter that we had sent to the chairperson of the committee.